Welcome to Wellness Rebranded.
We know there is so much conflicting health and fitness advice out there.
And you're tired of the wellness fads, endless diets, and impossible standards that make you feel like nothing you do is ever enough.
You're ready to tune into your mind and body and feel empowered around health.
We're the Healing Trio here to help you redesign your relationships with food, fitness, and yourself.
I'm Elizabeth, registered dietitian and certified intuitive eating counselor.
I'm Maria, licensed mental health therapist.
And I'm Tara, personal trainer.
Together, we're changing the narrative on health away from diet culture, hustle culture, and toxic positivity and towards healthful self-care.
So grab your water bottle, get ready to laugh, learn, and grow, and let's start rebranding your wellness journey.
Okay, so we are back, and I have a situation that we're going to talk about today because I find, Elizabeth, this is for you. I go to work and I plan out my food all day and I eat throughout the day, usually like things that I consider to be healthy and, energy promoting, blah, 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 right? I'm on my feet a lot all day, so I need a lot of energy. And then I get home and I'm ravenous usually, and I start snacking, and even while I'm like making dinner, I'm still snacking, and then we have dinner, and then after dinner, I continue snacking.
Ooh, I think a lot of people can relate to that. That is one of the number one things that people tell me, like, it's like that after work hour or evening hour that just really trips me up. And so, yeah, I hear you loud and clear. I think I usually, and it's, first of all, it just sucks when that happens, right? Because either you end up spoiling dinner, and then like you come home, you eat all the snacks, then like you're not hungry, but you've cooked dinner, so you feel like you should eat it.
Yes.
So then you're eating the snacks and dinner, right?
Yes.
And then just left feeling really uncomfortable. Or if you don't do that, then maybe you're just like grazing all night before, either at dinner or after dinner, and then still feeling uncomfortable. And like maybe your choices weren't what you had hoped they would be.
Thinking about launching a podcast or taking yours to the next level? Juliana Barbati and her team are the experts you need. They take care of everything from episode funnel design to production and marketing, so you can focus on creating content that connects. Check out julianabarbati.com and mention that we sent you.
And sometimes I'll make a choice where I'm like, I want a healthy snack. So I'll get out like, carrots and celery and cucumbers or something and some dip. Mm-hmm. And that's fine. And I enjoy that. But I'm like, I secretly really wanted like a Reese's peanut butter cup. Mm-hmm. So then I'll have like, some cheese and crackers because that's a little bit closer. Mm-hmm. And then I'll have, something else. And then I'll be like, now also I'm going to eat the Reese's cup.
And probably at that point, you might be more likely to eat more than one Reese's cup.
Correct.
So do you know there's actually a name for that in intuitive eating? Have we talked about this on the pod? Do you guys know what it's called?
I have talked about this like years ago, but I can't remember.
It's called phantom eating. And essentially it's like when you're trying to find satisfaction in an unsatisfactory food. So the reality is if you want a peanut butter cup and you're trying to quelch that craving or desire with carrots and celery, I mean, that's pretty much destined to not be successful, right? Because
and saying it out loud sounds so stupid.
Not stupid, but I mean, it's what we're told to do, right? Like, if you're hungry, just ignore it or eat an apple. And if you're not hungry enough for an apple, you're not really hungry, which is total BS. I can tell you there's a lot of times that I'm hungry and I'm not in the mood for an apple or carrots or celery.
Agree. When I want chocolate, I want chocolate.
Yes.
Period.
Speaking of, I have chocolate in my bag today, Maria. I took matters into my own hands. So the other day we were both looking for chocolate after a meeting in this very location and there wasn't any. And I was like, that's not happening today. I'm bringing the chocolate. So, and then what ends up happening is like exactly what you said. Like you end up eating through several different versions of snacks. And then in the end, you're like, but I just really want that one thing anyway. And then you go eat it. And at that point, often you will have kept that food so out of bounds and it's been built up into such a thing and you've been trying so hard to resist it that it's really common to end up eating more of it than you would have. First of all, you just ate through all those other foods, right, that you didn't even want. And then you end up most often eating more of the original thing than you would have if you just had it.
Okay, let me ask you this. So because there is a difference between, I'm eating something to satisfy my hunger or whatever that is, and I'm eating something to satisfy my soul.
Yeah.
Like, so,
Yes.
right? So, and I think you've talked about this before, right, Elizabeth? Like what are we eating this for? Because then if it's for to satisfy your soul and then you keep eating the stuff that is not doing that, then
Right.
you're probably not even tuning with that hunger at that moment because you haven't satisfied what you were looking.
Right. Well, if you're trying to fill an emotional need with food, then you may not actually ever feel satisfied, right?
Right. But more than an emotional need is like, okay, when I already had, like that day at that meeting, we already had the food, the lunch, and I just wanted like a tiny piece of something sweet for my mouth, and I couldn't find it. So I did actually, I went and had a cookie. That didn't do it for me. So then I don't know what else I had. It was just like maybe like a nut covered in something. I'm like, that didn't do it either.
Yes.
Until I found like this liquid chocolate that we use for other stuff. I put on a little spoon, and that's what.
I believe they call that a chocolate emergency.
Right. It was like a chocolate emergency. Yes. But I thought the cookie will do it. It was like a butter cookie. I'm like, oh, maybe the cookie will do it. No, it did not.
I think what you're like hinting at is the importance of satisfaction. Like how much it's downplayed in our culture. Like we don't give attention to the fact that food can and should be pleasurable, and it's okay to want something just merely for the fact that it will hit the spot, right? And if you don't have it, drives eating and behaviors, and it leaves you unsatisfied.
Okay, let's pause there for a minute because this is important.
Okay.
Need a cleaner home without the stress? Our partner Clean is a trusted cleaning service based in Anne Arundel County, serving homes and businesses across the DMV area. They do it all, from routine tidying to deep cleanings, move-in, move-out jobs, Airbnb turnovers, and janitorial services. Their team is experienced, reliable, and focused on giving you back time and peace in your space. And here's the best part. Mention Wellness Rebranded and you'll get $100 off your first cleaning. Visit chrisclean.com, that's KRISSKLEAN.com. Call 410-858-5620 and check the show notes for all the details. Food can be joyful and pleasurable and enjoyable, and right? I think that's a concept that many people have lost or, confused, that just because it's joyful, you're gonna overdo it. I mean, I don't know. I heard my teenager the other say, it's like, oh, mommy, I enjoy eating so much. I'm like, good.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. And it almost feels like we shouldn't feel that way.
Yeah.
Our culture.
I think it's because
messages.
we've been so deep down the rabbit hole of like food is fuel.
Well, even just think about the dietary guidelines and like they're updated every 5 years. The new U.S. dietary guidelines came out. Nowhere in there does it say, right? It's all just like, do this, do that, a bunch of rules and stipulations. And many other countries around the world actually do include that. Like the Japanese dietary guidelines come to mind. They talk about pleasure, like the pleasure of eating.
Well, Marie Kondo, right? You know how she talks about, it's more like organization and your clothes. Now I'm thinking like, you should Marie Kondo your food.
Yeah,
yes.
Marie Kondo your food. I love it.
I mean,
If you don't like it, get it out of here.
it should looks good, right? It's nice when it looks
in
good.
intuitive eating that I share all the time that I love, which is like, if you love it, savor it. And if you don't love it, don't eat it. So I guess like that's shorthand for Marie Kondo that meal.
Marie Kondo that meal. Yeah. If it sparks joy and pleasure and you're gonna savor it, then you're in the right
place. Well, and
place.
also if it sparks joy and pleasure and you're genuinely satisfied with that, it's going to be so much easier to find your comfortable stopping point than if you're constantly like what you described with the chocolate or the cookies or what Tara described in the beginning. If you're constantly trying to fill it with something that's not satisfying, you end up eating more.
And for example, I've been to restaurants.
And it's no fun.
It's no fun. I've been to restaurants and I have my meal, and then when I get to the car, I'm like, that was not good.
Not good.
Like I ate it, and you leave feeling full, but not satisfied.
That's
right?
the
It's
worst.
like, that was a waste of
Like,
my
listen, I can do
foodness.
that in my own house. At a restaurant, I deserve to not have that.
That's so funny. I often think that the food I have at home is better than the food I get in restaurants, sadly. So we digressed a little bit, although I think that was all important. But going back to that sort of idea of the after work food snack spiral, I think what people think is happening is that they don't have enough willpower or self-discipline, right? Like people will say to me, like, I just can't control myself after work, or I'm so good all day and then I just lose control the second I get home from work. And I don't think that it's a willpower or discipline issue at all. What I see it's really happening is usually one of three things. People are actually physically hungry, right? They either didn't give themselves enough food during the day, either on purpose or not on purpose. Like it's not always, sometimes it's because they're in a dieting mindset, but sometimes it's just people aren't prioritizing eating. Or maybe you ate lunch, but you really needed a snack and you didn't get it, right? So you arrive home physically hungry. The second thing I see happening is actually, I would call it rebound eating, which is you haven't eaten enough during the day, or you've tried to be so disciplined about what you were allowed to eat that when you get home, there's this rebound effect, like that pendulum swing that we've talked about many times. Or the third thing that I think drives this, and by the way, it could be a combination of these three, is that you actually have an emotional need, or you had a stressful day, or like decision fatigue, or an emotional need is actually happening.
I think it's all three for me.
Yeah.
Like I bring food and it's usually healthy food. And then sometimes I don't have time. Sometimes a client will reschedule or something and I'll lose my break or whatever. So I've probably not eaten it all. And then I didn't have enough. So then I get home and I'm like ravenous. And also my day might have been a little crazy, like carrying a lot of other people's emotions and trauma and things like that. And then I'm like, oh, I just need a peanut butter cup. But I'm going to eat all the rest of the stuff first.
Yeah. Yeah. So what I really invite people to sit with and explore is the idea that there's nothing wrong with you if you fall into this pattern. Your body isn't broken. You're not lacking in willpower or discipline. But what if you sat with the idea that you actually have an unmet physical or emotional need?
I have a lot of unmet physical and emotional needs.
I mean, I suppose we all do at different times, right? But I think that's a really different way of looking at it for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like I hear people instantly in the like self-shaming, self-blaming, self-criticism kind of loop. And if you sit back and think, oh, actually, I think I have a need that's not being met, then the awesome thing is you can work at identifying and then trying to meet that need. So I love the questions. And I learned this from Evelyn Tribbley, actually, who's she is the founder of Intuitive Eating, but also we just interviewed her, right? If you have not heard that episode, go back and listen to it. I want to call it Intuitive Eating Gold, but it's honestly just gold. Like go listen to it.
It's amazing.
Yeah. She's a wealth of information,
And so pleasant to be around.
Yes. But the two questions you can ask yourself, what am I feeling? Right? So you get home, you're in that moment. What am I feeling? Okay, go for it. Yes.
Okay, what are you feeling?
What are you feeling? Right? Are you literally physically hungry, or is it emotional? And then what do I need? If you can identify what you're feeling, then you can start offering yourself what you need. And I would invite everyone to consider snacks are good. Snacks are a welcome part of our daily eating if you need them and get hungry between meals. I would encourage you actually to go back to what we were talking about at the beginning and start with satisfaction, right? A satisfying snack. You either plan earlier in your day or when you get home if you need it. Just in general, when we're thinking about snacks like protein, fiber-rich carbs, healthy fats, like those all, and like something that tastes and sounds good is probably like a good snack strategy for a lot of people. And if it is really emotional need or decision fatigue, Maria, I would love to know like what you would share with people in that scenario. Like what's the takeaway they can have?
If they're looking for that snack because of their emotions?
Yeah, if it's really more, not that you're hungry when you come home, but that your bandwidth is low or
I think your two questions apply beautifully. What am I feeling and what do I need? Because it might be when we start digging deeper with that, it might be that what you need is maybe not that snack, is maybe having a conversation with somebody, expressing that feeling. Maybe sometimes it's just a hug. Maybe sometimes it's boredom. You just need to move to the next activity. Maybe you just need to, whatever that is. I'm also thinking, going back to the snacks.
Wait, before you do that, can I say something? Or like something that popped into my head when you were talking is like, maybe you need like a wind down routine from work to home life. Like,
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
Like when I get home from work, sometimes I'm just like, oh my gosh, I just want to sit in silence for like 15 minutes and do nothing, or scroll my phone, or just like chill from the day.
Yeah. So maybe it's an invitation to consider like, is there like 10 or 15 minutes you can build in to transition?
Listen,
those
something
emotional needs
that has been super helpful for me is to really discover patterns of things I do. I know this might sound like a lot of work, but it's not. You grab a little notebook and you start writing the things that you do or happen during your day. And then the next day you do the same thing. And then you realize that, yes, every day at around 2 p.m. you get this, situation where something shows up that either you want a snack or either you want an emotional break or whatever. And then you start getting to know yourself by knowing the patterns that you have. Because it's most likely there's going to be a pattern. And then once you know the pattern, whether that is like, I have a client that she's like, her pattern is that her mood completely changes around these specific months of the year. And now after so many years, she has very clear her pattern. So she prepares 2 months in advance. She prepares for what is coming, right? So when we know what we know, then you can prepare and now know, you know what? I'm going to have these kind of snacks in my purse, or I'm going to, this is the time that actually I do need to go for a walk because it's the time of day that my body responds, whatever. And going back, what the idea that came to mind when I was listening to you, Elizabeth, is, and going back to the Marie Kondo thing, is that I haven't done that before, but what if I Marie Kondo like a little space in my pantry closet and my refrigerator of those snacks that are gonna satisfy me physically and emotionally and spark joy. And I have them handy, and it's like I'm gifting myself the little drawer of snacks for when I come to these moments and I'm not looking all over or getting sad that I don't have anything to satisfy myself at that moment. So you plan ahead for you. What can you do for the you of the future tomorrow when you have those cravings?
Yeah. And do it through the lens of care.
Yeah.
Not
calories,
controlling your snacks.
It's
what
like
would be enjoyable and nourishing.
Well, you did it. You thought, okay, for the Elizabeth of later today, I'm going to pack these chocolates.
That chocolate as soon as we're done recording.
Yeah, so
I love it.
Look at that. It's like, what am I going to do for the Maria of tomorrow?
Now, if I had been really on it, I would have also maybe brought like an orange, because a fresh orange and dark chocolate sounds really good to me right now.
Well, maybe you do it for tomorrow. The Elizabeth of tomorrow might want that orange and the chocolate. So give it to her. Plan for it. Put it in the bag, like the diaper bag, but for ourselves.
Yeah.
Right.
You know how we plan for our kids? Here's a diaper for these. Here's now let's do these bags for ourselves. And it could be snacks. It could
love it. Okay. That's what we have for you today. I love that invitation to just sit with the idea that it is perhaps an unmet physical or emotional need. Can you try to identify what are you feeling? What do you need in response? And then that idea of noticing your patterns. Just simply notice for a while. And then that awareness that you will raise is the first step of change. And be kind to yourself.
And if you like this episode or any of the other over 170 episodes that we've been recording over 3 years, because we love what we do and we want to bring you all this evidence-based information and fun, like a conversation among friends, like one of our listeners shared recently.
Yeah, several
like
people have
listening
said
to
that.
You guys is like a chat with friends. Yes, that's what we want. So if you like what we're doing, please share with your friends. Leave a review. We read all of them and it makes us so happy. So share, leave a review, connect with us on Instagram at Wellness Rebranded, and we will continue all these conversations next week. Thank you for listening. If you want to connect with me outside of this podcast, you can find me on Instagram at coaching_therapist.
I'm Elizabeth. You can find me at Elizabeth Harris Nutrition or in my Facebook group, Health and Healing with Intuitive Eating.
And I'm on Instagram and Facebook at Tara De Leon Fitness. Guys, if you loved this episode or any of our other episodes, we would love it if you would leave us a review on Apple Podcast. It really, really helps us get the non-diet word out to the rest of the world. So please leave us a review.
Yes, thank you.